Learning a language is hard, and no matter where you are in the process, you will have your own set of distinct challenges. If you're at the beginning, it's so overwhelming because you have everything to learn. If you've made some progress with the language, but you hear yourself talking and you don't sound the way you want to sound, you can feel like you'll never sound like an intelligent person speaking this foreign language. And if you're more advanced, you might be experiencing this challenge that I am currently facing. Now, if you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you have not yet, please consider doing so and clicking the notification bell so that each time I upload a video about living in France, moving abroad, or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms, you'll be notified. My name is Patricia Brooks, and a few years back, I moved from Richmond, Virginia to the south of France. One of the major reasons I did that was because I had fallen in love with the French language, and I wanted to sound like the French sound. Now, I still have my American accent, so I don't quite sound like the French, but I can say that I am fluent, and that feels so good. However, even in this more advanced stage of learning, I find that there are challenges. And one of those challenges is being able to express myself the way that I want to. And there are a couple of instances where I struggle with this. The first one is in technical situations. If I'm at the doctor's office or the dentist's office, I don't have those words or terminology at the ready to express myself. Or recently, as I was updating my CV, I recognized that I didn't have the words to express all of my business experience, having not worked in a French company. And so those are particular situations that I think with practice and experience, those terms will come to me, right? However, there is another situation where I find it challenging, and I'm not so sure if I will get to a place where this challenge has passed me. I'm hopeful, but I'm not so sure. And what that challenge is in expressing my emotions. I am a pretty expressive person. People know how I feel. I'm typically an upbeat person. So expressing myself and my positive feelings in French is hard. And I think I found a big reason for that. I was watching a video by Inner French that I'll put a link to in the description so you can check it out for yourself. And it's entitled, "Why Are the French Never Excited?" Well, he speaks about how French people are typically more reserved and that they don't share their emotions, especially positive emotions. He speaks about how they might be protesting, and so you'll know if they're unhappy, but for them to express their happy emotions, this is not something that they typically do. And so I think that this is at the core of my struggle because I don't know if there are words or expressions that really, in French, that really express how I am feeling inside. So he speaks about this false friend or faux ami, and in language learning, that is a word that looks like a word that you know in your native tongue, but has a completely different meaning. And so if you use it in that same sense, you might get some stares. And he speaks about one around positive emotion in English. He says, if you say, "I am excited" in French, that is going to get you stared at or laughed at because this always has a sexual connotation. Whereas in English, "I'm excited to go to the pool today. I'm excited to see you again today." All things that just we say all of the time. And there's no problem. Nobody's going to look at you any differently. And so not having this expression, having that taken off the table, led me to this expression that he speaks about as well in his video. "J'ai hâte de te revoir. J'ai hâte d'aller à la piscine." Which I have been using for the last couple of years because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to X. I'm looking forward to Y. And that kind of felt good to me until I learned that, well, if I'm going to sound French, I might not want to use that expression because the French typically don't use it because they're not used to expressing their positive emotions. And instead, what he says, you might hear French people say when they're excited about something or looking forward to something, they might say cool, or they might say super. Now, these words just don't speak to me because I hear those words and I think of a teenager, right? And so for me to say cool, when I mean I'm excited or happy about something, just doesn't feel right to me. I asked a language exchange partner a few months back, how best to express this emotion. And she said, oh, you might want to say, je suis super contente de, and then whatever the thing is. That doesn't feel quite right either. Maybe after I use it more frequently, it will settle in and feel more right to me. But as of yet, I haven't found the word or phrase or expression that expresses this positive emotion for me. And that's hard because when I want to convey what I want to say in French and I can't find the word or expression, it's frustrating. Now, I remember when I was having my books translated into French, there were a few passages where we struggled to get the right wording. And fortunately, I worked with a French translator and also a woman who was a French teacher, but who was an American. So she truly understood deep down what I was saying. And the French translator truly understood the French language. And my friend also was a French teacher, so she understood the French language too. And so we collaborated in order to get the right words, the right expressions to say exactly what I wanted to say. And I'm quite happy with how that turned out, but it took 3 of us to get it right. And so as I am just expressing myself on a daily basis, it's just me trying to figure it out. So that is the thing that I am finding really challenging right now at the level of language learning that I am in right now. But it doesn't matter because while it feels frustrating or it doesn't necessarily feel genuine, if I were to say, c'est cool, it's part of the process. And maybe, as I said, that repetition will make it feel better to me. So what about you? What do you find most challenging as you are learning a foreign language? Let me know in the comments. Now, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to give you one tip to help with your language learning progress. I've done a couple of videos on learning a foreign language, and I'll put a link to one of them up here. But the tip I have for you is get comfortable making mistakes. Get comfortable not sounding the way you want to in a foreign language. Because when you do that, then you will lean into the opportunities to speak that foreign language. It is so easy to say, this time when I go out to the store, I am going to speak in this foreign language. And then the person comes back to you in your native tongue, right? It's so easy to just, roll with it and speak your native tongue. However, if the situation allows, if there's not a real long line at the grocery store, then I would say ask them to humor you so that you can practice this new language so that you can get better at it. And most times they will honor that. Sometimes they want to practice their English or whatever language that you speak. However, what I do to combat that is I let them speak their English and I would stumble through before in my French so that at least I'd have my side, the speaking side, to practice with. So get comfortable being uncomfortable, speaking and sounding not quite like you want to right now, because I will tell you the payoff is huge. It's so satisfying to be able to communicate in a foreign language, especially when you can look back and say, oh, a year ago, I did not have this skill, right? It's really, really rewarding. So if you are learning a foreign language so that you can move to another country and settle in more easily, good for you. And you're probably working through some other issues as well, like the overwhelm of all that you have to do, of not knowing exactly what to do. And if that's the case, and if you'd like some help talking through some things, then let's have a conversation. I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description so that you can find a time for us to talk and you can share with me what you're struggling with. And we can see if I might be able to help you work through that so that you can get to your new country sooner. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.